Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans with Bands, we're talking to Custard Flux. Check it out. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans with Bands, and I'm talking to Curvey from Custard Flux. Curvey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm very good.
Awesome,
Yeah.
man. You were kind enough to reach out to me via email, and I checked out your music, and I checked out Enter. Do you say, is it Xenon?
Xenon.
Xenon.
Yeah, Xenon.
Yeah, the one of the elements. And so anyway, I love that album. I just got the I think it was last week the vinyl got delivered to me, and it's
Cool.
fantastic, man. It's so good.
Good. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, just it reminds me of the things I love about bands like Porcupine Tree and Genesis, Atomic Rooster. So
Sure.
yeah, so super cool. So thanks so much for being on Fans with Bands.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Awesome. So I'm curious to hear about the creation of the music on the new album, but I'd like to start at the beginning and talk about like how the band began, how you started Custard Flux, and I'm really curious, like, how did the name come up?
Okay. Well, the name just kind of came to me. It's a play on clusterfuck. Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to call it clusterfuck. I wanted it to be, kind of hint a little bit at psychedelia, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Custard Flux does that, but that's what I was thinking when I did it,
Awesome.
And I'm stuck with it now, so that's all right.
I think it's cool.
Good.
I dig it. And it does have an element of like psychedelia or progressive kind of sound, because you're like, what the hell is a Custard Flux? But
Well,
yeah.
that's good. That's good. Yeah, so I moved to Detroit from Chicago about 10 years ago now. And I had a band in Chicago for years, eons, the Luck of Eden Hall. And I tried to keep that together after I moved here, and it was kind of difficult with other guys, being over in Chicago and me being here by myself. And I'd go back there for rehearsals, and we did a show. And I just thought, I need to try something different here.
Yeah.
And I had this idea because my friend Lee in Chicago, Lee Klawans, he was helping some folks with a estate sale. And he sends me this message saying, Curvey, you got to come to Chicago. There's this harmonium here, and this thing's really cool, and I know you're going to love it. So I did. I thought, well, I'll do it. I got a rental truck and went to Chicago, saw this harmonium, and fell in love with it. The cool thing about it, on my initial playing of the harmonium, was that it really reminded me of a Hammond B3, or like where the Hammond B3 came from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it has all the stops, and you change the sounds, and it's a windy sound, obviously, because it's pushed with air. But there's little mechanism in there that twirls around that gives it a kind of a vibrato and stuff like that,
Yeah.
So as I'm playing this harmonium, and it's big, it's a huge sound coming out of this thing, I thought, wouldn't it be cool to put together an all-acoustic act that did progressive psychedelic rock without sounding folk-like, but, really try to do it without electricity.
Yeah.
And that's what the initial idea for Custard Flux was. And I couldn't get anyone on board with me here in Detroit. Granted, I probably wasn't meeting as many musicians as I would have liked to.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't find anyone that wanted to do it. And I was getting antsy, and I thought, okay, I'm going to record this first album on my own. I'm a multi-musician, a multi-instrumentalist, right?
Right.
And if you, never mind. But I thought, I'm just going to go ahead and record this first project. I had written a bunch of songs, and that's what I did. So the first Custard Flux album which was, I think, released in 2018, maybe 2017, was called Helium. And it ended up being a double album. And I played everything on it. And it went over really well.
Yeah.
The critics loved it, which made me happy. I didn't know what to expect,
Right.
after doing
Right.
a kind of a heavier psychedelic band for a long time.
Yeah.
And so that's how it began. And then my friend Tim, who lived in Tecumseh, now he lives in Chicago, but at the time he lived in Tecumseh. I was like, Tim plays stand-up bass, and I thought, yes, that's perfect,
Yeah.
So I got Tim in. He played stand-up bass. His son Walt plays violin. Walt still lives here in Detroit. Walt Prettyman is a brilliant violinist, just fantastic. And then my friend Vito, who lives in Chicago, but him and I really hit it off. I think the first time I went in his house, he had a sitar and an oud and all these things, and
Wow.
it was like, oh, he's my brother in music
Yeah.
right here. We're gonna work well together. So
Right.
I asked Vito. So I'm not sure if he's on that second record, which was Echo, but I know Tim and his son plays violin on there. Maybe Vito plays a couple guitar parts. But it was the third record when COVID hit and we're all stuck at home
Right.
and everyone had home recording stuff. So I thought, well, let's do another record here. And I hadn't found a drummer yet, so I'm still playing the drums on all these records. But I had bass and violin. I got Mars Williams, who played with the Luck of Eden Hall on a couple songs from the Psychedelic Furs, and he played saxophone on Oxygen. And Vito played guitar, and I played guitar. Vito had he was using this Portuguese guitar, which I believe it's a double stringed instrument. Um, Sort of sounds like a mandolin, but it's called a Portuguese guitar and has a
Okay.
really unique sound. I think Steve Howe used one in Yes on some songs.
Yeah.
So he was using that, and we were trading electric guitar solos, and Oxygen really went well. That was a great record. That third one was everyone was really happy with that. The critics were happy with it. I sold them out. It was great. It was fantastic.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Um, so that's kind of how it got rolling. And
Yeah.
then finally, after the next album, it was the same lineup. With the album after that, which is Einsteinium Delirium, which is the one just prior to.
Yeah.
Uh,
2024, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found a drummer, and I wanted. I was being very picky, but I wanted a drummer that could blow me away. I didn't want a drummer that I could play better drums than the drummer, right? I
Right.
wanted a guy
Yeah.
that when he played, I just went, "Holy shit! Look
Yeah.
at this! This is great."
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what Nick did.
Yeah.
So he joined in, and we recorded that record. Uh, Prior to Nick joining, we played a live show in Chicago acoustically as Custard Flux.
Uh-huh.
I brought the harmonium there and
Oh,
everything.
wow. Wow.
And it isn't that it went bad. It was all right being the first show and for what it was. But we kind of we hit reality in the fact that, you go into clubs, soundmen, they just, where's
Yeah.
the guitar amp?
Yeah.
How do I mic? Where's the plugs for this harmonium thing? Where do I put a microphone on it? And even though the evening worked out okay, it wasn't. We realized what we needed to really make it work the way we wanted it
Yeah.
to, if that's understandable.
Yeah.
And so we decided to plug in and go electric.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's kind of how that
How
happened.
how that evolution came from
Yeah.
that show. Ah.
Yes. And it
Okay.
just so happened that that was when Nick joined after that. And when Nick came in, it just felt right to play. Just let's go, man. Let's go back to the playing electric. We did this acoustic thing. It was a success. It
Yeah.
worked well. The songs and the music worked well. I accomplished what I wanted to, other than world domination. But
Well, in a way, you have some world domination going because you've really gotten some great feedback, especially on Enter Xenon,
Yeah,
Einsteinium. You know, looking back at reviews that were done on that, totally awesome, and Oxygen as well. You know,
yeah,
the acoustic stuff, all super good. Um, you know, Enter Xenon, I was just like, wow, this is so cool. I really love Winter and
thanks,
what's Icy Tranquility. That
thanks,
is so cool. Actually, there's all the tunes I love. Opportunity Knocks is another one that it just blows me away. But
thanks.
I'm curious, you know, when you were recording this album, you know, how do you feel that it compares to Einsteinium and to the earlier acoustic? I know it's prior arrangements, you know, were with the acoustic, you know, instruments in mind, but
Yeah.
how do you feel the music's progressed over time?
Um, with Einsteinium Delirium, I started Vito. Vito's a wonderful musician, and the reason why I like to work with him is because he comes at things from a completely different angle than I would have thought. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, when he sits down and plays something, a part that he's come up with for one of my songs, it isn't what you would have thought it would have been at all, at least myself, you
Yeah.
know. And he likes to incorporate dissonance into his chord progressions, into what he's playing with my stuff. And he inspired me to explore that a little bit more. So with Einsteinium Delirium and it being about Einsteinium, which is a byproduct of nuclear explosions, right? A man-made element.
Yeah.
At least we like to our
Think that we
egos say
made
it's a
it. Yeah.
man-made element, right?
Right.
Um, and I knew I just couldn't get away from the nuclear thing. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be about nuclear whatever, you
Right.
know. And I tried to keep it as positive as possible. I didn't want it to be doom because that isn't my thing. I kind of wanna put a joyful message out there without being, poppy smiley face. But
Yeah.
um so I started to explore the dissonant chords. And on that record, I developed some scales in my song compositions that I liked a lot. So that was kind of the transformation of coming from, you know, out of the acoustic stuff into the electric stuff. And
Yeah.
I changed some of the chords that I was playing. Not all of them.
Yeah.
I like to mix jazz chords and bar chords and power chords together, but then I kind of added that dissonance in there. And that's come through to Enter Xenon as well, you know? And it's dissonance without being off kilter. I don't
Right. Yeah, yeah.
if that
Without
makes sense.
or jagged or you know kind of abrasive.
Right.
You don't feel that. I've not felt that way in any of the music, you know,
Right.
and I've been immersing myself in it because I just love it. But the yes, you can hear some of those dissonant notes, but they don't. They're not. It's not a clashing sound. It's not a harsh. You know.
It's more of the way dissonance is used in an Indian scale,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. That's
Well,
how I like to that's how I'm feeling it anyway.
yeah,
So,
and it almost seems to create like a bit of space, a little bit
sure.
of a just a nuanced feel to it. I think actually makes it slightly more intriguing because you're just like, what is that? And you can't. When I was first listening to it, I couldn't put my finger on what that was. And now that you've explained it, it kind of makes sense now because I'm like, okay,
Yes. Yeah, so
that's
between
what's going
that and the
on.
different time signatures,
Yeah,
it's yeah, exactly.
yeah, very cool. So
Thanks.
so what's the songwriting process like? Are you guys so pretty much the rest of the band is in Chicago? Is that true?
My drummer, Nick, lives here,
Okay.
but Vito and Tim live in Chicago. And Andy, who played Mellotron, he lives in England.
Oh,
So,
all right.
yeah.
So what is walk me through the songwriting process, especially for the new album. Do you have things, fully formed that you want, and then give it to the rest of the guys to kind of add their essence?
I
Or
do. I do. So I work on the composition until I'm completely happy with it. Then I add the lyrics. I might, I'll get all the melodies worked out and the
right,
phrasing, but then after all that's done, I'll add the lyrics because I don't consider myself a lyricist, but I find it easier for me to write lyrics if I have a theme, whether I whether it's loosely, whether I stick to that theme loosely, or I think that's normally what I do. I don't really
yeah,
try to stick with the theme, but it kind of come at that theme from different angles. But it helps me think of lyrics because otherwise I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, okay, give me. I'll come up with a melody, but it's hard for me to do lyrics. So anyway, so that's how that starts out, and everything's recorded on my phone. Doing all these different versions of these things with an unplugged electric guitar on my phone. And until I'm completely happy and I've listened to it and I don't hate it, but I think, yeah, this is good. I can live with this one. Then I give it to the other guys and I see what they can do. Um, I have to explain rhythms sometimes or tempo, because without without it being put down, no click or anything like that.
yeah,
Someone might interpret something as being a halftime, and I'm thinking, no, this is moving right here, so this is to rock. So
yeah,
I'll give that kind of guidance, but I never say this is the drum beat that I want. I've never done that. I'm trying. I did that for so long. Even in the Luck of Eden Hall, I was the guy who I composed a lot of the stuff.
right,
And my partner Mark would do lyrics and bass parts, but a lot of everything else was me, unless Mark wrote a song, right? So I was trying to say, with this band, I just want to I'll compose the songs and let the other guys own it. They come up with their parts and work as a team that way. So um, sometimes I'll give guidance uh, if one of the players is lost or like, man, I just can't feel what to do here. That
right.
doesn't happen very often. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So
cool.
that's pretty much how we do it. And
Nice.
then we go in the studio and lay stuff down. We haven't. I have a home studio, so I don't have the ability to record everyone at once. At least we haven't tried that yet because of the isolation issues.
Yeah.
Um, but like I say, Vito has home recording, Tim has home recording, but they've also come here to Detroit and laid parts down. Or Vito and I, at the end of the Floating Chamber, that was first take. Vito and I just played guitar back and forth off of each other. I had
Oh,
my guitar amp in one room and he was in another, and that happened. So
oh, that's cool. That's
we have
awesome.
done that. Yeah.
Nice. I'm curious. That tune is really cool because what is the background vocals? So you can't really make it out. There's like a
Yeah.
transmission going on or something.
Yes. It's a I really wish that I could. Vito, I wanted something like that, and he said, "Oh, I have the right thing. I have the exact thing." And oh man, I'm gonna mess this up. I can't think of his name, but it's about. Oh, you're putting me on the spot. I can't think of what it is. It's a it's about how science and religion were kind of coming together at that point in science, right? Where we're
Oh,
discovering things and going, oh my God, these things that these sages have been talking about for centuries is true. How did they
yeah,
know that? It's kind of like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's mysticism,
Right. That's
and
cool.
science. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, because I thought I could pick out certain things, and I was like, man, what is that? And the reason I was asking is because I've been reading this book, The Master and His Emissary, which
Mhm.
is about it's Ian Gilchrist talking about the left and right hemispheres,
Okay.
how we perceive reality two different ways.
Sure.
Right, right hemisphere is more empathic and more global view, and the left is the analytic side that tries to pick everything apart and can't see the big picture. I was wondering, like, it just something about the book I was reading, and then that a couple of snippets coming out of there. I'm like, is this the same thing? But it sounds like it
In
maybe it's
ways, it
close.
probably is.
Yeah.
It
Right.
absolutely is. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy. So when you're in when you guys are recording, do you ever find that even though everyone's got the structure of the song down, that you're like, oh, we need to change that, or we need to do something different because now that we're laying it down, it doesn't sound right?
That hasn't happened yet.
Nice.
It's made it so that when we do stuff live, sometimes we're like, oh shit, how are we going to do that live? Because Vito retunes his guitar for different tunings for a lot of things.
Oh,
So there's certain songs he's like, I just can't, I got to change it because, I didn't think about that when I was recording it.
yeah.
But for the most part, the songs, when we play them live, are as close to the record as we can do it, you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
So I know this is a tough question because you're invested in all the music, but from Enter Xenon, what would you say is the most fun song for you to play?
And Enter Xenon, I really like to play Winter.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is it about that song that you enjoy?
Um, it's up tempo. It has the Indian lick in there, which I was kind of visualizing strings, and then we doubled it with the mellotron. But and I and I had the whole song, and then when I came up with that choppy part, dun 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 dun,
Yeah,
that just
I
made it
love
for
that.
me. I was like, okay, that's it. That's the part that made me say this song's finished, right? But when we play that, it always goes well. Nick rips the hell out of the drums. It's fucking awesome. I love to play that song.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
song came about. I have a friend fan in who lives in Alaska, and he posted online this photograph of the Arctic Sea frozen, and he's on this island, and all you see is a couple rocks with snow in the right at his feet, and then just oblivion, right?
Uh-huh.
And I wrote Winter and Icy Tranquility inspired by that photograph.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, so that's why I put it on the back of the record. It's the
Oh,
photo on the back of the record.
nice. Yeah, because I saw there was a photo credit, and I assume that was the photo of the
Yes.
from Alaska. So,
Yep.
oh, very cool. Very cool. I gotta tell you that I love the drawings and the in the because they got the booklet that came with the
Yep.
7 inch.
Yep.
Um, so are you doing those,
Yeah.
or and then but the cover art is by another
Okay,
artist,
so my
correct?
friend, a longtime childhood friend, Greg Chamberlain, paints. He's a very prolific painter, and whenever he posts one that I feel needs to be a record cover, I buy it from him, and he's done all the record covers.
Oh,
So
awesome.
every
Awesome.
single cover has been one of Greg's paintings.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the inspiration for putting the booklet in? Just because you wanted to share the art and make sure that people could view the lyrics?
Do you have? Are you familiar with Yes Fragile
Yeah. Yeah.
and the booklet that came inside?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I pulled that out to play it one day. Pulled that Roger Dean book out and thought, man, this is when records were cool. I
Right.
got to do this. And that was the inspiration for it. So
Oh,
I just
awesome.
started. I pulled out my drawing table and started inking some drawings based on the lyrics of the songs, and that's kind of how that came together.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, other than trying to get everybody together, what would you say was the most challenging aspect of recording the new album?
The most challenging part about recording was getting the sounds as good as we could. So on Einsteinium Delirium, Nick has some microphones, and he brought his drum microphones over, and we changed up my traditional miking pattern.
Hmm.
We researched it online, got some uh, good advice from friends that record, and we used the extra microphones than I'd ever used before because Nick had them, and we had actual microphones on each tom. I had never done that before. We had a mic inside, a PZM inside the drum, and then my Shure mic on the outside. and I think we had two. I think we had a 57 on the top of the snare and a 58 at the bottom to get the buzzing of the snares a little bit more. And that really made the drums. I mean, it was the first time that I wasn't playing the drums. So it sounded better because Nick's a player, and we, took a little time and effort to get a better sound. Okay, with Enter Xenon, we wanted to make it even better. I mean, we're like, no, we did that. Let's make
Right.
this thing better, right?
Yeah.
So we used not only overheads on the drum kit, but we put room mics, and was that it? That might have been it. We just added room
Room
mics.
mics, give it some ambiance, some depth.
But what a change in the depth
Yeah.
of the drums. So I have a pretty live room. It's plastered basement walls, plastered walls, and I have some foam deadening panels around, but not too many. But it's pretty live, but it sounds pretty good. Um, but yeah, so I don't know if it was challenging as much as
Yeah.
it was. We took it as a challenge and tried to create something better than we'd ever done before. And I think we did. I think the drums sound better. You know what? If you listen to, you mentioned Opportunity Knocks, that
Yeah.
was recorded with the Einstein and Delirium setup.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because we did that song for a label in England, Fruits to Mirror Records, and it was a split single. So we were on one side and another band was on the other side. And so that was the first track finished off the next record. And I wanted to put it on there. So when I put it next to all the new tracks, I had to EQ it a bit differently to get it to sound to match,
Yeah.
which I think I did a pretty good job. But still, if you want to listen to that track and then some of the other ones and see if you can hear the
Yeah.
difference in the drum sound, that's where you'll find it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. So, kind of rewinding, how did you get into music? What was started your path?
Yeah. Right. Um, the monkeys,
Awesome.
right? Seeing the monkeys on TV. And then one of my mom's sisters went off to college and left all of her records at my grandma's house. And then grandma said, "Okay, we're selling these at the yard sale." And me being the little kid, can I have some? So, I pulled out the Monkees albums and Rolling Stone 45s, Beatles, Beach Boys. Um, I think I had the McCoys Bang on Sloopy, right? And I was a little kid. I was pre-kindergarten. I
Yeah.
pulled these things out not because I knew who they were. I had no idea. I grabbed them because of the cool psychedelic
They
label
look
on the
cool.
records.
Yeah.
And I just happened to pick some cool shit. So that's what got me into music. My my grandmother had a piano or an organ. My dad had an organ in my teens. When I was 16, I begged and begged for a, a guitar for my birthday, and I got the K brand, Kay.
Oh yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they made everything, right?
Yeah. Right.
PAs, stand up
Right.
bass kits, they made everything. Well, I had a K finger bleeder, right? I think after the seventh fret, everything went sharp because the strings are so far from the neck.
Yeah.
But I taught myself how to play on there.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
yeah, so that's how I did it. I think when I was 16, I got that. When I was 17, I bought my drum kit because my folks had businesses. I'm from Kalamazoo area.
Okay.
And so, I was a stock boy or pump gas, saved my money, bought my drum set. Um, and then I got a 12 string guitar, Neil Young songbook, and taught myself to play Neil Young songs. So that was the beginning of everything right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
got what I know that the album covers kind of got you into the psychedelia, but what what were the bands that kind of influenced you and your sound? Because there's definitely I mean your voice is very much like Peter Gabriel, I think, which is great. And there's elements of, like I mentioned, Genesis and Porcupine Tree. So I'm curious, like, what was your influences that got you into that style of music?
Sure, sure. Um, Back when FM radio was FM, if you remember those days,
Oh yeah.
right? It was wonderful. And WLAV out of Grand Rapids, where they didn't have any commercials, right? They just do every hour, they'd say
Yeah.
LAVFM, and then they'd go into the next thing. So, that was probably the year that Relayer by Yes came out. So they were playing Sound Chaser and Jeff Beck Wired, they were playing songs on there. Uh, Birds of Fire, Mahavishnu Orchestra. I think that was around the year when Wind and Wuthering by Genesis came out. So they were playing songs off Wind and Wuthering. And then, of course, they would play Lamb Lies Down and all that. So
Yeah.
I was really into progressive music when I was that age. Utopia by Todd
Oh
Rundgren,
yeah. Yeah.
that first record
Yeah.
with Freak Parade and all that. Um, yeah, so that's where it started. And then new wave came and punk rock came, and I totally got into that. I moved to Chicago when I was 18 years old, and totally got into punk rock. Saw Husker Du a billion times. um but since we're going there, you listen to the first Pretenders record, right?
Yeah.
Lots of odd time signatures on there. And after reading Chrissy Hines' book, you find out that I can't remember which two musicians, but the drummer and the guitarist, I think, came from progressive rock bands, right?
Yeah. That's
And
crazy.
if you listen to Husker Du Zen Arcade, that's totally a progressive rock record. I
Right.
mean, I loved that record to death. It was the best punk rock. To me, I wasn't the hardcore speed metal guy.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, that's psychedelic, you know, Zen Arcade. That was it. And then the damned Machine Gun Etiquette, right? There's piano on there and it takes you places.
Yeah.
I like records that take you places. So that's my background. When I'm writing, I'm trying to create a journey for people so that when you come from one side to the other side, you say, wow, I didn't just hear the same thing over and over again. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that was kind of, I went somewhere, took you somewhere. That's what I'm trying to do anyway.
Very nice. Well, I think you're doing a great job of it because yeah, all the tunes they meld together, but they're distinct and they give you a different feel each one. And
Thanks.
earlier you mentioned that you come up with a theme. So when you're thinking of that, is it the music kind of generating or giving you a sense of where you think the emotion is, or are you coming at it with like, I've got a particular emotion that I'd like to express?
Yeah, that's a hard one. I'm never generally thinking about emotions. It's maybe what the chords make me feel more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the catchphrases that I'm repeating to come up with the melody are discarded. And sometimes one of those lines inspires the entire rest of the song.
Okay.
It's a key, like I'll keep that line. I
Yeah.
can't think of one of a song that happened to me right off the cuff here, but that does happen where that phrase sticks. So
Do you are you are you are you conscious of how you hope someone will perceive the music?
not really.
Do you
Not
ever?
really. I'm trying to write it so that I like it because I figure if I like it, I got to live with it.
Yeah.
I put it out there, and you know what? There are songs that I can't stomach anymore. When I first, obviously, they made the record, so I really
Right.
liked them. But there are some now that I'm like, fuck that shit. I can't believe I wrote that. But
Oh,
that's it.
yeah.
That's the artist, right?
Right.
You
Right.
move on. So,
Oh, so
like Frazetta going back to one of his brilliant paintings and scraping a little off and changing it.
oh man, I can all see that.
He did. I
That's
read
wild.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So what's the? Do you guys tour? Are you planning to tour? Do you want to
Uh,
tour? I
that's
don't
the
know if
hard
that's
thing.
logistically possible.
Yeah, it's we have last, let's see, 2 summers ago we went over to the UK, and I had 4 shows set up, and one of them was a live videotaping, and that one got canceled because of the guy's health, and he's passed away now. So
Oh,
that was sad. I never got to meet him. But yeah, I wanted to do more shows. That wasn't my first time in the UK. I took the Luck of Eden Hall over there 3 or 4 times and had done a larger path, hitting Scotland and everything. But this time when we went, we did a festival in Devon, which is in England, and we played in London. And then we played a festival in Wales.
oh, cool.
So that was a couple summers ago. Now, when we played in England, I the previous year when I was in England playing the festival, I met some of the players in Gong, and I met the current bass player.
Okay.
And so when we were going back over there to play, and I had heard, are you familiar with the last couple Gong albums
I
at
have
all?
just the last album. That's the
The
only one that, yeah.
Ascending,
Yep.
oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And the one before that, the universe also collapses or whatever. I love those records, absolutely. So when I got to meet Dave Sturt, the bassist, I thought, well, we're going back over to London, and oh gosh, Cavus has solo stuff. I wonder if he would open for us. And I got a hold of him, and he said yes. And I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing, right? And I happened to catch him right before he booked his solo tour. So we ended up being the first show on his tour promoting his solo record.
Oh, cool.
So Cavus opened up for us in England. He and our Mellotron player, Andy, knew each other for like 20 years, which I didn't know.
Oh, wow, cool.
So they hit it off, and we all hit it off. And
Yeah.
Cavus is a wonderful human, and it was great. It was a great night. So he told me Gong was going to be coming to the U.S., and I found out like real quick
Yeah.
when they were coming, and immediately called the clubs in Detroit, Grand Rapids, and Chicago to try to get on those bills. And the only one that came through was the one in Detroit, and that's because Gong called the club and
Oh, and,
said, "We want this band on the bill." So they
oh,
put us on the bill.
oh, nice.
And that was after we came back from England and did that tour, right? So then this last summer, Gong came back again, said they were going to be doing the West Coast. And they said, "We want you to open some shows for us." And like, the way this happens, it's really difficult to do this um, at this level,
Yeah.
at this level of playing. And in my mind, Gong should be opening for Smashing Pumpkins, or they should be huge. They're fucking brilliant, wonderful act.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
amazing to watch, but playing smaller places. So when they booked their tour, when their management company booked their tour, the clubs immediately fill the opening slots,
Right.
like almost immediately, because they've got their local people that they do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so everything, the California ones filled right up. And it ended up that the 2 shows in Oregon worked out. So we played in Eugene, Oregon with them, and we played in Portland, Oregon with them, and
Nice.
went over really well. I mean, it was fantastic.
That's awesome.
And then while we were out there, I did a show in Davis with my friend Anton Barbeau as well.
Very cool.
So yeah, so we did, little tours, not big
Yeah.
tours.
Yeah.
Everyone works,
Yeah.
and it's difficult to it's difficult to coordinate it, especially when you're paying for it. You're
Right.
not doing this and coming home with a paycheck.
Right.
You're paying for this vacation to go play music, right? That's
Right.
basically what it is at this level. So
Yeah.
it's difficult to get everyone on
Yeah.
board.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Any plans to try to do something again this summer or
I
no?
would love to. I've been trying to get everyone's dates, their availability dates, so that
Right.
I can put something together.
Yeah.
Um, it hasn't happened yet. And as much as I would like to go back to England, which I really should because that's where we're getting the attention again. I don't know if I can afford it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got to see how this works out.
Right, right. Well, you know, kind of flipping back to to your origin story, uh, there's a question I always like to ask, and that's what was the first album you ever bought?
The first album that I bought with my own money
Yeah, yeah, not the ones you
was
got from grandma's sale, but
right, was Three Dog Night Golden Biscuits.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Awesome. What was it
yeah.
about that album you
I think
were
some kid at school was saying, "Oh, my brother got this record. It's so great." So I went and bought it. Yeah.
awesome? So, you know, there some people have musical idols. I'm curious, do you have any? You have people you look up to that you've revered and influenced the way you play?
Tons of musical idols. Tons. Probably too many to name. No, I'm serious. I'm enamored with many musicians and bands. Um, I've been fortunate enough to meet a handful of people, including my heroes. Um, so Todd Rundgren's a big one, being that he's such a player, has such history,
Yeah,
such a songwriter, such a producer. He's just great.
yeah,
Um, but by no means is the only the only person.
yeah. Did you ever meet
Um,
Todd?
yeah, a handful of
You
times. Yeah,
really?
yeah.
You
My best story. Well, I have two good stories. Uh, the Tubes and Utopia were touring in the early '90s,
okay?
maybe late '80s, probably late, probably late '80s when I think about it. And the Metro in Chicago had a private party for them in the upstairs in a club that was called Joe's at the time. Went to that party. I got into that party, and Todd Rundgren standing there in the corner, like it was like offices. They didn't redesign the walls or anything. They just painted everything black, right? So where there
Yeah,
used to be a closet, the
yeah.
doors weren't on the closet, but there's closets, right? And Rundgren standing there in the closet with a drink, just trying to meld in and not get bothered, right? And my silly friend, my one of my great friends, Bruce, who was my drummer at the time, he's like, "Let's go talk to Todd." So we went over there and made him laugh a little bit, and that was
Awesome.
fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
And another time, my friend Patrice, who passed away last year, um, she got me into so many shows. Just a wonderful person. But she would get into shows because she worked for Jam Productions, which was the Chicago area,
Yeah.
company that put on a lot of shows in the 60s and 70s, and maybe just the 70s. She's 10 years older than me. And so she knew all those guys.
Hmm.
And we go up to the door and she'd just say, "Hi, Scotty," and give him a bag of cookies. And he said, "Come on in, Pat." And whoever entourage she had, right, would
Right.
get in.
That's
I
awesome.
saw a billion bands that way, but one of them was Todd Rundgren had a solo tour at the Park West, and she set it up for me to be able to talk to him because my first Eden Hall record, Belladonna Marmalade, had just come out, and we made CDs. Right,
Yeah.
we didn't make LPs at that time; we made CDs, and the whole theater emptied out, and then his publicist came out and said, "Todd's ready to see you now." And we go backstage, and he's sitting there with his family eating dinner. And I mean, Liv Tyler was a little girl. They're all there. All the kids were there. They're eating dinner. He's like, "Would you like something to eat?" And you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like an ass
Yeah.
busting in here. But
Like,
he was
dude, you're trying to have
wonderful. It was
dinner.
fabulous.
That's
And
awesome.
we had a little conversation, and I said, "Man, I'd be just thrilled to death if you produced my music someday." And he said, I think his line was something like, "Oh, I'm the touch of death. You don't want me to produce your stuff," something like that. But anyway,
Oh
yeah, it
man.
was great.
Yeah, that would be so wild. I found that when I've met some of my musical idols that they've all been cool It's just that I like just freeze up and just can't say anything but I like your stuff, you know, and I just feel like a
Yeah. Because
total
how many
idiot.
times have they heard, "Oh, I love
I
this
know.
song," or "I love that"? They probably want to talk about how's that chicken taste, or
Right. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not a good conversationalist, so I'm right there with you, Chuck. I'm right there with you.
Oh man. Yeah. Cause I in my head I imagine uh, you know, there's always that fantasy like you're like, oh, me and so and so are gonna become good friends now, and we'll be, sharing emails, and he'll send me a text or whatever, and I'm like, all I'll say is great show or something, and then
Sure.
stammer and walk away.
I have a couple of my idols, Guys and Gong being one of them, but Steve Kilbey from the church is he's a fan of mine as well. So he returns my emails, which is
Oh,
nice.
awesome!
He's a good guy.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. That is so cool. So, what are you looking forward to in 2026?
Next record, man.
Awesome.
Yeah. I've already got the music written for probably 75% of it.
Really? Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Yeah.
Whoa, crazy.
So, and I at the end of the last record, I said to the guys, we're not going to rush the next record. I really don't want to rush it. And then you get something like this where you're, you know, number 2 in the top 5 classic rock prog records. I'm like, oh, what the hell? How does this, what? And then the Mojo. My
Yeah.
God, I've been trying to get into Mojo magazine for years and never returned email. And then we're number 8 on the top 10.
Yeah.
So it says to me, don't stop now, punk, keep writing, keep doing what you're doing, make it happen. So
Yeah.
I'm
And
keep it
yeah.
going.
And are you feeling so this is a question I always wondered about too. Have Do you feel any different in terms of the amount of inspiration, and what is keeping you inspired? Is it just, being with an instrument and making music, or is there things in life that kind of fuel that inspiration?
The instrument, I believe. I play my guitar more now than I've ever played in my life. Um, Really into learning lots of Indian scales. So I've been practicing like crazy to become fluent with that so I can just throw them in with whatever I'm playing. Or sometimes the scale will influence a song, you know.
Yeah.
So it's the learning of the instrument. The beautiful thing about guitar or a lot of things in life, there's so many different angles that you can approach with the guitar.
Yeah.
Flamenco, folk, whatever, classical, rock, you know. So there's plenty to learn. And as I'm learning, it inspires me to write. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, if an alien came down and took you up to a spaceship, and they gave you the opportunity to bring 3 albums with you that kind of would tell them who you are, what would those 3 albums be?
That would tell them who I am.
Yeah.
Dude, it's gotta be I'm gonna approach this from the current records that I play because I don't know how else to do it, man. Um, yeah, wow. Um, a go-to record because of the angst in the playing, the incredibly musicianship in the playing would be Birds of Fire by Mahavishnu Orchestra.
Nice.
I mean, every time I listen to that, I'm blown away by it. When I went to see uh, the meeting of the spirits, where it was John McLaughlin and his band, and
Yeah.
then this other dude, I can't remember him, and his band. And then at the end, they all got together and played. I saw him in Ann Arbor,
Oh wow.
and my wife and daughter said, "Oh, we haven't seen you smile so much in your whole life." I think my cheeks hurt the next day from smiling during that whole show. Just wonderful. That was wonderful. So that's one record. Man. Um, say Supper's Ready. Foxtrot or Nursery Crime by, let's say both, because I had them as a double album. All right, they came as a double album, reissued sometime in the '70s, and that was the first time I bought it. So those
All right.
Genesis records, that era of Genesis,
Yeah.
wonderful songwriting, amazing stuff. And I just bought the box set of live Husker Du
Oh,
tracks,
awesome. Nice.
and I hadn't heard Husker Du in a long time. So a lot of times I'll look at a record, I can think of the music in my head,
Yeah.
and then I consider it already listened to. It might sound insane, but that's what I do sometimes. And I hadn't listened to Husker Du in eons, and man, I brought tears to my eyes.
Oh,
I
awesome.
mean, it was like, that was a point of my life,
Yeah.
17, 18, 19, 20 years old. Um, and Husker Du was the soundtrack at that point. And
Man.
those songs are still pretty powerful. It's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Well, now you're inspiring me to want to go get some and give that a listen because I have not listened to that either since the 80s.
It's been forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
Put on
cool.
Zen Arcade.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So, Curvey, it's been great talking with you. I
Thank
got
you.
one last question for you.
Sure.
That is pineapple or no pineapple on pizza?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
And I've given it many tries. Just no, thank you.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm not a sweet and savory person with respect to pizza, and it's just like no, it's not for me.
Now, I think in England I had eggs on pizza, or maybe it was Italy. I had egg on pizza, which was kind of weird, but it worked.
Yeah.
And Chicago stuffed pizza, which isn't really pizza. It's more like having a lasagna or something.
Yeah, like a bread lasagna.
But if you're asking, I know I'm taking you farther than you asked, but I like a real thin crust pizza, like crackers.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Any favorite toppings? What's your favorite topping go-to combo?
Probably fresh basil and goat cheese and prosciutto,
Nice.
something
Very
like
nice.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, Curvey, thanks again.
Thanks for the opportunity, Chuck.
Yeah, man. Great to talk with you. And for anybody listen, I'll put all the things in the show notes, but everyone should go get all of your albums because they're fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, man. Take care.
Yep, I appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Many thanks to Curvey from Custard Flux for joining me on this episode of Fans with Bands. The latest release from Custard Flux, called Enter Xenon, is amazing. Some of the best progressive rock in the world, and it starts right here in Michigan. Fans of Genesis and Porcupine Tree will dig this album. You should get yours today. See the show notes for all the details and links. Bands are nothing without you, the fans. Purchasing music and merchandise is critical to their survival. If you can help out your favorite bands, please do. If you're in Michigan, consider following the Playing in Detroit Area Tonight and SE for Southeast Michigan Music Facebook pages. They are fantastic places for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling your family, telling your priest, tell everyone, and leave a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jam.